Good morning and welcome back to Highway Online. I'm glad you're with us here this morning in this online format. If you're new to Highway Online this morning, I want to give you an extra special welcome today as our guest, and we want to know who you are. So if that's you this morning and you're here for the first time, maybe the second time, and you haven't let us know yet, please let us know that you're here with us. And you can do that in such a very simple way. You can just pick up your phone if that's not what you're watching on right now, and text the word welcome to 416-267-1189 and follow along with the prompts so we can gather the information we need to be able to send you a more formal welcome. And again, we thank you for being here. If you're watching on your phone right now, make sure you do that texting welcome as soon as we're done the service. Again, it works all day long. That way we can get to know you, and thank you for being with us. We also can get to know that you're here as well through the chat. If you've subscribed to our channel, you should be able to be in the chat right now. So if you're in the chat, I encourage you every week, take part, say hi. When someone else comes in and says hi, you can say hi back. It's our way of knowing that we're not alone this morning, that you're not just isolated where you are, but that you have others here participating in the service with you. It's also a great thing because sometimes I'm out of this service and in the in-person service, so sometimes I miss people saying hi. So make sure you say hi and that you say hi back to others as they enter the chat as well. I only have two quick announcements to share with you today. The first is Zoom Kids and Junior Highs is back this coming Friday at 7 p.m. after the week off for the long weekend. So Zoom Kids and Junior Highs this Friday night at 7 p.m. That's for students ages SK through grade 8. As well, we have all church prayer coming up on Sunday, October 22nd here in the building at 6 p.m. and everyone is welcome to join us from the youngest to the oldest. So plan that and put that on your calendar. Sunday, September 22nd, all church prayer here in the Highway building if you live locally. Want to take some time to thank you this morning for your continued faithfulness to the mission and ministries here at Highway through your giving. We want to encourage you to continue your faithfulness, and we want to thank you for that. And we want to remind you this morning that there are 4 ways you can give. You can e-transfer us, you can use the Tithely app, you can go to our website and click give, or you can send a check by mail. Please don't send cash. But again, thank you so much for your faithfulness to what we do here at Highway. I want to encourage you to take time each week to check our website out, highwaygospel.ca, where you can find out all this information and much more, so you can keep up to date with what's going on at Highway. Also, follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And just before I take time to go to prayer, this is a great time to open your YouVersion app so you can follow along with the notes for Pastor Dan's message today. YouVersion, if you haven't downloaded it, you can get it on the App Store or the Apple Store, whichever you use. And just follow along. The notes are there provided for you under Highway Gospel Church. Let's pray together this morning. Heavenly Father, we thank you that we can come into your presence, that we can gather together in this format to worship you. Help us to truly worship you today. Help us not to just be watching a service on a screen, but help us to participate in worship unto you today. Lord, for those watching right now, for those participating right now that need healing, Lord, I pray by your Spirit you reach down your hand and touch them. Heal them, Lord, body, mind, and spirit today. Lord, do a work in each of our lives. Speak to us through your word today. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Before we go to worship this morning, I just want to encourage you, take a moment to watch this message from Pastor Dan. And remember today, Highway is a place to belong, and you belong here. God bless you.
Hi, I'm so excited to tell you about our fall spiritual campaign called The Awe of God. We are going to study how a healthy fear of God can transform your life. So I'm inviting you to join us for the 6-week, 42-day spiritual journey that begins on October the 15th. in a nutshell, let me remind you what a spiritual campaign is, or tell you what it is. It's where we focus all of our teaching for adults at Highway to a specific topic in all the different ways that we do church. Let me kind of tell you, the cornerstone of this campaign is this 42-day devotional book called The Awe of God. It's written by John Bevere himself. And so in it, there's 42 readings, like I just mentioned, and every day's reading ends with a point to ponder from the reading and a prayer point to take you into prayer. And you need this book to get the most out of this spiritual campaign. And I strongly encourage you to get one and to follow along with everybody else. We're making these books available for a slightly discounted cost of $20 suggested donation. So if you can afford that, that's great. If you can only afford part of that, that's great too. Just get yourself a book and make sure that you follow it. You can give that suggested donation through any ways of our giving options here at Highway, and just mark your giving book. Along with this book, I suggest that you join a Connect group. Those are the new names for what used to be small groups. And here in your Connect group, you'll be able to watch a short video from John Bevere himself discussing the weekly topic that you've been reading as well. And you'll have time to discuss and learn and grow in it, and then end your Connect group time with a time of prayer for one another. And every Sunday during the campaign, we are going to use the Sunday teaching to kick off the topic for the week. And that's going to go along with your daily readings and your Connect group meetings. More information about our campaign can be found on our website, highwaygospel.ca. So let me ask you, are you going to join us for this campaign? Will you make sure that you get your hands on one of the books? Join a Connect group. Go ahead, test drive one. Even if you've never been in one, test drive one beginning October 15th and join us for the Sundays of the campaign. I am looking forward to this campaign and for you coming along with us. God bless you.
I just want to speak the name of Jesus over every heart and every mind, 'cause I know there is peace within your presence. I speak Jesus. I just want to speak the name of Jesus till every dark addiction starts to break, declaring there is hope and there is freedom. I speak Jesus, 'cause your name is power, your name is healing, your name is life. Break every stronghold, shine through the shadows, burn like a fire. I just want to speak the name of Jesus over fear and all anxiety, to every soul held captive by depression. I speak Jesus. Your name is power, your name is healing, your name is life. Break every stronghold, shine through the shadows, burn like a fire. Shout Jesus from the mountains, and Jesus in the streets, Jesus in the darkness over every I speak the holy name of Jesus. Shout Jesus from the mountains, and Jesus in the streets, Jesus in the darkness over every enemy, Jesus for my family. I speak the holy name of Jesus. Shout Jesus from the mountains, and Jesus in the streets, Jesus in the darkness over every enemy, Jesus for my family. I speak the holy name of Jesus. Your name is power, your name is healing, your name is life. Break every stronghold, shine through the shadows, burn like a fire. Your name is power, your name is healing, your name is life. Break every stronghold, shine through the shadows, burn like a fire. I just want to speak the name of Jesus over every heart and every mind, 'cause I know there is peace within His presence. I speak Jesus.
Good morning. It's great to have you here with us today at Highway Online. Today, what I want to do is share with you the campaign that we're kicking off next Sunday morning. Don't miss us next Sunday morning. We're kicking off this campaign called The Awe of God. And the campaign has a number of facets to it. It's going to begin by every Sunday morning in our Sunday teaching. We're going to kick off the topic for the week. Then you'll be able to follow along in a daily devotional for 42 days, each day of those 6 weeks of the campaign, and have a daily devotional reading. And you'll be able to dig deeper into the topic in your Connect group. That's what we used to call small groups. We now rebranded them to Connect groups because it better shares the idea. What we want people to do is connect together in their small group formatting meeting and digging deeper into what God says. One of the verses that I want to draw to your attention is Proverbs 1:7. It says, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction." See, that's what we want to understand, is that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. So today I want to give you when I say very, I mean a very brief introduction to the 6 topics that we're going to dig deeper into in the coming weeks. I just really want to introduce you to the topic. Maybe you're not sure about joining us on this spiritual campaign journey, and you're figuring, well, what is it? What is it about? So today, all I want to do is really introduce each topic and a main thought for it, and then leave us the next number of weeks to dig deeper into them. So in week 1, you're going to learn about the topic of an awesome God. The writer in Ecclesiastes 12:13 says, "Now all has been heard. Here is the conclusion of the matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the duty of all mankind." See, the idea of fearing God is not being afraid of God. It's not having this harmful fear of being scared and worried and afraid and frightened about God's presence. No, holy fear is really to have reverence and godly fear. The idea of reverence is to have a profound, adoring awe of God. And that's kind of where we get our title, the awe of God. It's this reverence. And godly fear is to be inspired by something great and terrific, which leads to esteem and respect and honor and praise of God. So this first week, you're going to dig deeper into what it means to have a holy fear of God, the awe of God. A good, wonderful fear of God draws us close to Him. It is going to enhance your relationship with God. The awe of God is not so that you run away from God's presence, but that instead you be drawn into God's presence. Then in week 2, you're going to learn the topic of revealed as we are. Paul writes in 2 Corinthians 5:10, "For we must all appear and be revealed as we are before the judgment seat of Christ." Now we realize here that Paul is talking about a date that is yet to come. But one day we will all stand before God. And when we do, we are going to be revealed as we are. And we're going to learn that we all have 3 images of ourselves. We have our perceived image. That's how other people see us, so we may not be aware of it. We have our projected image. That's the way we would really hope other people see us. And then we have our actual image. This is who we really are. This actual image, we can hide it from people. We can put a mask on and pretend not to be like that and think that we're fooling people. But we're learning from what Paul told us in 2 Corinthians here, that we're revealed as we are before God, that God sees us as we actually are. And one day, we're going to stand before God as we actually are. During this week's study, you're going to learn about the tragic story of Ananias and Sapphira. And you're going to understand that they were judged by God because of who they really were, that God could know their heart and speak to them that way. So this week is a reminder that God knows not only what you do, but the motives and intentions behind your actions. This would bring us to the third week. In week 3, you're going to study the topic irresistible holiness. Again, if we look at 2 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 1, it says, "Therefore, having these promises, beloved, let us cleanse ourselves from all filthiness of the flesh and spirit, and perfecting holiness in the fear of God." We're reminded here that holiness is not an end to itself. Rather, it's a passageway. It's a doorway into a place of deeper intimacy with God. The idea here is we should passionately chase after holiness with the intent that we could grab hold of holiness to become closer to God. 1 Peter 1:15 says, "But as he who called you is holy, you also be holy in all your conduct." There's some words of advice here for us to understand. We need to understand this truth that if we do not pursue holiness, it will stunt our Christian growth. See, if we don't pursue holiness, we won't be transformed into the image of Christ. If we don't pursue holiness, our Christian character will not be developing properly or totally. So we need to be in this place of pursuing holiness. Week 4 brings us to our response to God's word. Philippians chapter 2, verse 12 says, "Therefore, my beloved, as you have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling." When Paul writes these words, he's writing these words to believers, to followers of Christ, to Christians. And he's encouraging them that they've always obeyed when he was around, but he needs them to obey much more with his absence. And in essence, that truth holds for us, that the fear of the Lord gives you the ability to obey God. You don't want to obey him just when you're in church, just when you're in the middle of a worship service, but you need to learn to obey him even when you're not aware of his presence so thickly, so really. In those times when you might be in the mundane of a workday, that you need to remember that his presence is still with you, even if you're not aware of it. And you need to learn to obey God because God is always with you. As you come to this week of study, we are going to learn about 5 proofs of a person who trembles at God's word. And this is a good thing. I'm not painting this as a bad thing when I say tremble. It's having this awe, this reverence, this respect. And we're going to dig deeper into these. But here are the 5 things we're going to learn that week that obey God immediately. That we obey God even if it doesn't make sense. Here's a tough one. We obey even when you don't see a personal benefit. Or this one's hard. You obey God even if it's painful. And we obey God to completion. We obey God all the way through. See, a true follower of Jesus is one who obeys Jesus. This will bring us right into week 5, and they're going to kind of dovetail together in week 5, because week 5 is intimacy with God. Psalm 25:14, the psalmist writes, "The secret of the Lord is with those who fear him, and he will show them his covenant." When we come to this week of studying, we're going to learn about intimacy with God by looking at the example of Abraham and his relationship with God. We're going to learn how Abraham was willing to obey God even if it came to sacrificing his one and only beloved son, and what all that story has to speak and teach to us. And because of Abraham's obedience there, we learn that Abraham became so close to God that God would share his plans with him. And the beauty is, this isn't just in Abraham's life. We see a similar pattern in Moses' life. The way that Moses led the people of Israel out of slavery and in the wandering in the wilderness. And we see how God and Moses have such an intimate relationship. But it doesn't just end there. We see it in Jesus, where Jesus teaches us about intimacy with God. Jesus says these words in John 15:15. "I no longer call you servants, because a servant does not know his master's business. Instead, I have called you friends, for everything that I've learned from my Father I have made known to you." Here Jesus is telling us how, as he has spent time with the disciples and the believers, that they have moved in relationship with God, that maybe once upon a time they were just servants and followers, but now he calls them friends. There's been a progression, a change, a maturity in that relationship. This is the growth of intimacy that you and I can still have with God, that God wants us to be his friend, that we want to know God. Yes, we want to have an awe, a respect, and a reverence, and the fear of God, the holy fear of God, but we can do it in a way and still become more than a slave and a servant, but a friend of God. See, Jesus said in verse 14, "You are my friends if you do what I command." See, if you do what Jesus commands, If you live according to his words, if you obey the things that Jesus told us, teaches us, and reminds us in the word, then you will be his friend. You will be a close, intimate friend. And this will take us into the final week of the campaign. Week 6 is the treasurer's benefits. Or if you better like, the benefits of holy fear, of living in the awe of God. The psalmist writes these words in Psalm 112, beginning of verse 1. It says, "Praise the Lord. How joyful are those who fear the Lord and delight in obeying his commands. Their children will be successful everywhere. An entire generation of godly people will be blessed. They themselves will be wealthy and their good deeds will last forever." Jump down to verse 6. "Such people will not be overcome by evil. Those who are righteous will be long remembered. They do not fear bad news. They confidently trust the Lord to care for them. They are confident and fearless and can face their foes triumphantly. They share freely and give generously to those in need. Their good deeds will be remembered forever. They will have influence and honor." In this week, you're going to learn about the benefits that are acquired by faith as you live in holy awe of God. Now, I won't have time right here to break down all those benefits. And if I did, then I would steal all the information that we're going to work on in week 6. But one of the greatest benefits that we're going to learn of is wisdom. Psalm 111:10 says, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom." And so we understand that the fear of the Lord, the awe of God, is what begins to teach us about the wisdom of God. Proverbs 4:7 tells us getting wisdom is the most important thing you can do. Don't you want wisdom? I'm sure you do. I'm sure you've got some now, but as we grow in intimacy with God, as we grow in living in the awe of God, we will grow in wisdom. So by embracing the holy awe of God, you will find intimacy with Jesus. Your salvation will be matured, and you will build an eternal legacy. Now, it's time to prepare yourself to join us in this spiritual campaign journey called the awe of God. Now, just before I let you go, I want to remind you of a couple things that you're going to want to do. And the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get yourself a copy of this book, The Awe of God. It's written by John Bevere. It's a devotional type book. There are 42 readings in it. And so the idea is you'll read one chapter, one reading. They're not really chapter, one reading a day. But it's even more than just a devotional book, because he is going to build in the writing from day 1 to day 42. We're going to build and build and build upon all the things that you're going to learn. And we've already pre-ordered and pre-purchased these books, and we're making them available for a suggested donation of $20. That's still a little bit under cost because we want to be able to make this available to you. It's a suggested donation. If you can't afford the suggested donation, give whatever you can. If you can't give anything, give whatever you can. The only thing we ask is that you take the book and you use it, that you'll read it every day for the 42 days of the campaign. And day 1 of the campaign is next Sunday, October the 15th. That's day 1. That's when you would read number 1. But let me give you some hints on using this book in your own personal life. Make it, I'm trying to find the word, make sure that you set your time apart for it. Make it a priority. That's the word I'm looking for. Make reading this book every day a priority in your life and a priority in your day. Whether you need to get up earlier, do it later at night when the house is quiet, in the middle of the day, whatever works for you, but make it a priority. Find a consistent time that works for you. Each day's reading ends with a couple of thoughts under a category called Make It Personal. This section is there to help you take the reading of that day and personally apply it to your life to learn to grow on it. And here's a little suggestion for you. If you've never done anything like this, take a stopwatch with you, and for the first 3 or 4 days, take your stopwatch your time, like time yourself. How long does it take me to read and to make it personal? Maybe have a closing prayer. Time yourself. And after 3 or 4 days, you'll know exactly how much time you need. Don't rush. And then you can set your schedule that way. Also, I want you to know there's a bonus content, short daily devotionals that come for free when you get your hands on the book. You'll find this QR code on page 271. It's the appendix in the back of the book. And you can, if you know how to use a QR code, you'll go there, you'll open up to a link, and you'll have, it's called the Awe of God 42-Day Devotional Journey Videos. It's going to ask you for your first name, your email address, and then you're going to want to click the Get Access button. And that page will look something like this. Once you click the Get Access button, you can go to your email, open up the link that's there, and you have a couple of options. You could save that link and open it in your browser and bookmark it, and every day you could go there. Or you could actually download an app that Messenger International has made available for free, and you can go every day on your device to the daily devotionals, and you can do it that way. So you could choose. You could do your daily devotional, make it personal, have a time of prayer, and then watch the video somewhere in there. Or you might want to do your readings in the morning and at night before you go to bed. Watch your video as a recap of the day. Play with it, see what works best for you, and try it out. So you'll want to get your hands on the Awe of God book. And another great thing you're going to want to do is join a Connect group. It's going to be one of the best ways to grow during this campaign. To get into a group with other people who want to grow in their faith, grow in their spiritual journey, have a chance to dig deeper into each of these topics in your Connect group time. You're going to watch a short video from John Bevere teaching more on the topic, and you'll be able to discuss it. You can go to our website, highwaygospel.ca, and there's an Awe of God button there. You can click that. It'll take you to the page with all the information. You can sign up for a group there, and you can join one of our Connect groups. A few of them are online, so if you need to join one of the online groups, then you can do that, and others take place in different parts of the city. If you've never been in a Connect group, let me encourage you to test drive a group. Try one. If you've never been in one, try one for 6 weeks. You're free to walk away when the campaign is done. I'm sure you won't want to, that you're going to enjoy it, but there's no lifelong commitment to your Connect group. Just try it out for the duration of the Awe of God. Come with an open heart and expecting God to speak to you. As you've been watching today, and I've been talking about how we're going to walk in the fear of God, and maybe you're watching and saying, but I'm not even sure that I know God. Well, I want you to know there's a wonderful opportunity here that you can today begin a relationship with God. You can say, God, I just want to know you. And you can jump right into this campaign starting next week and grow in your journey and relationship with God. So if that's you today, if you want to begin a relationship with God, pick up your phone and text the word love, just that one word, love, to the number on the bottom of the screen, 416-267-1189. Just text one word love and send it off, and it'll prompt you for your name and contact information. Please follow the prompts, and then we will be in touch with you and reach out to you that way. Let's pray together. Father, thank you for this day we have. Thank you for the campaign that begins in just a few short days. Father, that you would open our hearts to be open to a reverence and love and relationship with you. And we'll give you all the honor and the glory. In the name of Jesus we pray. Amen. Thank you so much for joining us today at Highway Online, and jump in and join us again next week as we begin the campaign, or better yet, come on down to the Highway building if you're local to us. We'd love to meet you in person, and we'd love to have you join us on this spiritual campaign journey together. In the meantime, have yourself a great week, and remember, Highway is a place to belong.